Hey everyone. Tonight, we're taking a gentle trip back in time, exploring stories from history. But before we start, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what kind of stories you'd love to hear next. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a city frozen in time. Streets that once echoed with the voices of merchants calling their wares, now silent. Grand temples where prayers once rose like incense, now buried beneath centuries of earth and sand. Doorways that welcomed thousands of footsteps, now leading only to darkness. Throughout history, entire civilizations have vanished. Some disappeared in a single catastrophic day. Others took centuries to fall, their people walking away one by one until only empty stone remains. But here's the remarkable thing. These cities aren't truly lost. They're waiting, preserved in ash and sand and salt water, holding their secrets until we're ready to listen. Tonight, we're traveling to 7 of these ancient places. 7 cities that vanished from the world, preserved beneath the elements that claimed them. So now, let's wander together through the ruins of civilizations lost to time. 1. Pompeii, Italy. The city frozen in ash. It was an ordinary morning in 79 AD. In Pompeii, bakers pulled fresh loaves from ovens. Children ran through narrow streets. Above it all, Mount Vesuvius stood silent against the blue sky. But Vesuvius was waiting. At 1 o'clock, the mountain erupted. Ash rose 20 miles into the sky, turning day into night. Stones rained from darkness. Some fled. Others sheltered in their homes, waiting for the storm to pass. They would wait forever. The city was buried under 20 feet of volcanic material, forgotten for 17 centuries. When excavators uncovered it in the 1700s, they found everything preserved: bread in ovens, wine in amphoras, even expressions on people's faces. A single day in Roman life, frozen beneath the ash. Walking through Pompeii today is like walking through a photograph from the past. Wheel ruts in streets, frescoes on walls, graffiti from 2,000 years ago, all waiting, as if the city might wake at any moment. 2. Angkor, Cambodia. The jungle's secret kingdom. Deep in Cambodia's jungles, trees grow where kings once walked. Their roots wrap around ancient towers, pulling them back into the earth. This is Angkor, heart of the Khmer Empire, home to nearly 1 million people in the 12th century. At its center stood Angkor Wat, a temple mountain meant to represent the home of the gods. Vast temples reached toward heaven, their walls carved with dancing figures. Enormous reservoirs sustained 3 rice harvests a year. But empires must end. Climate change brought droughts and floods. Wars weakened the kingdom. The jungle moved in, patient and relentless. Trees grew from rooftops. Vines covered ancient kings' faces. Within generations, Angkor vanished beneath green, remembered only in legends. When French explorer Henry Muhat found it in 1860, massive stone faces emerged from jungle canopy, corridors choked with roots. The trees hadn't destroyed Angkor, they'd preserved it, holding it together even as they pulled it apart. Today, stone and tree have become one, locked in eternal embrace. 3. Petra, Jordan. The rose-red city. The desert keeps its secrets. For centuries, Bedouin tribes guarded a hidden city carved into rose-colored cliffs. They called it the City of Ghosts. To reach Petra, you walk through the Sick, a narrow gorge where rock walls rise hundreds of feet, blocking out all but a ribbon of sky. The passage winds, grows narrower, darker, then suddenly, through a crack in the rock, you see it. The treasury. Carved from the cliff face, 40 meters tall, adorned with columns and details so delicate they seem impossible in stone. The morning sun illuminates it in shades of pink and orange and red. The Nabateans built this city 2,000 years ago, carving hundreds of tombs and temples into sandstone cliffs. They engineered dams and cisterns to capture desert rain. For centuries, Petra thrived as a crossroads where caravans laden with frankincense and silk paused to trade. When trade routes shifted, Petra was abandoned, known only to local tribes, until Swiss explorer Johann Burckhardt revealed it in 1812. Walking through at dusk, when crowds have gone and the sun paints cliffs in deepening red, you can almost hear ancient camel bells echoing. 4. Heracleion, Egypt, the sunken gateway. Some cities slip beneath waves, pulled down by earthquakes, until even their names are forgotten. For over 1,000 years, Heracleion existed only in legend. Ancient writers described a great port at the Nile's mouth, with massive temples and towering statues. But no trace could be found. Then, in 2000, archaeologist Frank Gaudio's team detected something beneath Abukir Bay. 10 meters below the surface lay Heracleion streets. Temples, harbors perfectly preserved in Mediterranean mud. Statues stood where they'd fallen. Ships held cargo of gold and jewels. Heracleion had been Egypt's main port before Alexandria, but earthquakes caused waterlogged ground to liquefy. Buildings collapsed. The land subsided. Within decades, the Mediterranean reclaimed it. Now divers glide through streets like ghosts, exploring where fish swim through temple doorways and secrets float suspended in green water. 5. Skara Brae in Scotland, older than the pyramids. In 1850, a storm battered the Orkney Islands. When winds died, the sea had torn away a sand dune, revealing stone walls and doorways. Skara Brae had emerged after 5,000 years. This wasn't a grand city. It was a Neolithic village where ordinary people lived before Stonehenge was built, before Egyptian pyramids rose. Each house has a central hearth, stone beds, dressers, even primitive toilets with drainage. Homes connect through covered passages against brutal Orkney winters. What makes it haunting is how suddenly it was abandoned. A string of beads scattered across one floor, as if broken in haste. Then sand swallowed it for 50 centuries. Standing in these houses, you feel the presence of people who lived here. The mother who arranged objects, the child who lost those beads, the family who gathered around this hearth on winter nights. They're gone. But the stones, remember. 6. Pavlopetri, Greece, the Bronze Age beneath waves. Off southern Greece lies the world's oldest known submerged city. Pavlopetri rests just 3 meters below the surface on calm days. You can see its streets from above. This city is 5,000 years old, from the time when heroes walked the earth. Its inhabitants knew the stories that became the Iliad. They might have watched ships sail to Troy. The entire city plan is visible underwater. Streets, houses, courtyards, tombs, foundations remarkably intact, protected by sand and sea. Archaeologists found pottery and tools still lying where they were dropped. Earthquakes likely caused the land to sink gently, keeping structures intact as the sea filled empty streets. When you dive through Pavlopetri, you swim through living history. Fish dart through doorways where families once entered homes. Octopi den in Bronze Age vessels. The city is still there, just beneath the surface, waiting. 7. Atlantis, the city that never was. Finally, we come to a city that may never have existed, yet has captured imagination more than any other. Atlantis. Plato described it around 360 BCE. An island nation beyond the Pillars of Hercules, laid out in concentric circles of land and water. At its center stood a temple to Poseidon, decorated with gold and mysterious red metal. The Atlanteans grew proud and corrupt. In a single day and night, earthquakes and floods sent Atlantis into the ocean. For 2,000 years, people have searched. Every few years, someone announces they've found it. But no concrete evidence has emerged. Most scholars believe Plato invented Atlantis as a parable about the corruption of ideal society. Yet it persists because it speaks to something deep in us. The mystery of what lies beneath waves. The hope that ancient wonders still wait to be discovered. Perhaps Atlantis' power is precisely that it's a myth. It can be anything we imagine real enough to inspire wonder, mysterious enough to never disappoint. 7 cities, 7 different fates. Some buried in a catastrophic day, others slowly reclaimed by jungle, desert, or sea, each a reminder that nothing lasts forever. But there's something comforting in that. These cities fell, but here we are, thousands of years later, still telling their stories. They're not really lost. They've just changed forms, from stone into memory and meaning. So, as you drift off tonight, imagine walking through these ancient places. Feel Pompeii's ash beneath your feet. Hear wind through Petra's cliffs. Watch sunlight filter through jungle leaves onto Angkor's stones.